you need to tell how you overcome the research gap provided in the previous research and how you're going to tackle all these situations. 1 to 2 lines is enough. And next comes the methodology section. You need to go through the overall process of the overall process, what you're going to do, what kind of application you're going to, what kind of method you're going to implement to arrive the good accurate results. So these kind of things has to be written in the methodology section. And next comes the results and discussion. It is always mandatory that, but people used to forget, it is mandatory that you should provide results as well as discussion about what the previous research and your proposed algorithm deals with. So these kind of key things has to be discussed. And that is the results, how it directly have a link with the objective and how you overcome the research. And these things should be discussed. And in the conclusion, you need to provide what are the implications of study and what are all the main advantage of the study. And one thing people used to do always when they write when they do writing is like, if you got the accuracy like 98%, don't over exaggerate it. Yeah, so in that way only people used to, in that you just to have one line is enough. In that way, don't exaggerate like 98%, 99%, because anyway we are going to read it in the inside section, right? When the error rate got minimized automatically based on some new technique, you will get it, you gain the higher performance. So in that way, subtle way of explaining is appreciated in abstract session. So the AI tool which I suggest in writing this also is rightful. You have two things. For graphical abstract maker, you can use Tidbit software. I'll tell you just to give you the glimpse as time is going 45, right? In the abstract generator, same rightful tool is AI tool is very good. What you have to do is paste your introduction till conclusion in the box provided, whichever box here it is showing, like in the text box you have to paste all your, as I have previously pasted all the content from introduction to conclusion. When you do so and press generate abstract, it will give you the glimpse, it will give you the summarized content of the abstract based on your writing. So and this is one of the good tool that you can do. And the next is a tidbit, that is graphical abstract generator. Nowadays graphical abstract generator plays a very major role. So in this you can use, I'll just tell you the major thing for the tidbit. Just to go log in all these things, just to choose the option template and you just move on. First of all, in this I'll tell you, as the time is running, I'll tell you what is what. As per your paper, you will get generated all these things. It is like ARM and overall outcome. This is called as ARM1 and ARM2. So based on this, the boxes will be generated and you have to see. If I want to, based on the template, you can customize of your own. It is like a novel prediction model for crop yield under weather and management interaction. So in this, if you want this, you can keep it or else you can change it. For example, I'll just remove the contraction. So it will get changed automatically. So similarly, when you see the background statement and if you want to paste what kind of background, like it is like an abstract written statement, you have to convert it into whichever. In this you can paste problem statement, that is background statement, what it is and what is the outcome you got it. So these kind of things, and you can customize the color, everything. So in this way you can utilize the Tidbit software. Got it? Next comes the keyword section. How to write and choose the keyword. First of all, you need to identify, once again, first of all, you need to identify your heading. Once the heading is confirmed, you need to choose 5 to 7. 5 is the appropriate keyword to be kept because in some journals they used to ask 7. 7 in the case where your content, whether you need to showcase many key terms, you can use that. Always the keyword should reflect your core key themes of your paper, of your study. So in this case, you can use, for an example, AI-based hybrid model for predicting oilseed crops. under climate variability. In this, what are all the things that is main is, as they have used AI in agriculture, that is main. And next one is crop yield prediction, the issue has to be mentioned, and what crop they have used, and what is the hybrid model they have, and we have that kind of secrecies also should be delivered, and what kind under which based on which factors they have used, like climate variability, and is there any other recommendation UI interfaces are there, or like any user based things or there, or anything to be added, you can use it. For this you can use chat gpt with basic prompt is enough. So five keywords with just
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am.
okay.
Excuse me, madam.
Yeah, is my voice audible to you, everyone?
Yeah, ma'am. I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if we use such type of AI generated tools for our writing our papers, it can be catched by the plagiarism software like Authenticate or Turnitin, and paper usually get rejected because the paper contains the AI content.
Yeah, man,
So,
those things I'll tell you in the later slides. So that is what the session deals with, right? We are going to, I'm going to tell you how to avoid all these plagiarisms, everything. As of
okay,
now,
okay.
what we are discussing it, how we can write it, and I'll tell you how you can overcome that as well. In the future slides,
Okay,
I'll
okay,
explain
okay.
it. Okay,
Okay,
definitely tell
okay,
you.
ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
No issues. Yeah. Mm. Fine. In this way, your keyword section should be what everyone are there in the session so silent.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. And next is introduction section. So once the keyword abstract everything has been done, now we are moving into the main part, introduction section. So here I have mentioned the theoretical aspect, right? This is not the theory that is to be kept. It is a prompt. So you can utilize all these. You can note down all these prompts. Okay. So, whichever paper or whichever application, as of now, as per the scenario, I have mentioned this is based on the case study AI-based crop yield prediction. You have to change according to your scenario. Fine. So, in this, how you have to write introduction is always start with the broad statement of your that is application which you have chosen. Here I have chosen the application agriculture. If it is medico, you just do with the statement. Proper 2 to 3 lines of the introduction is must, and you need to explain why that particular research area, why the particular you have to explain why the topic is considered to be very significant one. These are all the important thing that you need to write in the first 2 to 3 lines of your introduction section, followed by you have to also give briefly about what is the historical data or past research deals about, and how to define the key terms and concepts that you used in the paper. All this information should be summarized. In our case, I'll tell you agriculture. You have to tell how the agriculture plays a good role, that too with the oilseed crops which we have chosen for the past period. What is the strategy behind it? And in particular, if you want to choose in Tamil Nadu or in other state, Karnataka, whatever, in whichever state you need to work it on, you can have that background information of a few lines, and then you can proceed into the content. Next, once the background information has been done, next comes the literature review overview. You don't need to give whole depth into it, but the concise summary, whichever you have pointed out, has to be highlighted. Like what is the key finding of the previous research? Because when you see you might have gone through hundreds of going to help and how it provides the outcome. So these things has to be indexed in the paper. And next comes is we need to primarily state the aim of the research, and how you are going to investigate, or whether you're going to do it in a sort of survey method, or whatever application, whatever aspects you are going, you have to mention that as well. And Next comes you're going to tell how you're going to highlight the potential impact, and how your research will add the significance or benefit in a broader field of agriculture, or in the real time, how it is going to helpful in the real time in the future. So these aspects are highly important when writing the introduction section. So, and once it is done, it is mandatory. The eighth point is very, very mandatory, as it helps the people guide you, the readers. It helps the readers to guide which section comes or which section number. Because if I want to really read the results and conclusion section, I can go in the introduction last point, and then I can have the roadmap. So in that way, I can analyze which section, which section is placed in which position. So in that way, for an example, in the methodology section, for an example, data collection, everything will be placed, right? So 3.1 is going to discuss about the methodology. 4.1 discuss about the results and discussion. So this will help the readers guide you in the proper way. Okay, these are all the important points to be remembered. So whichever I have written here in the bold is called the prompt. Based on your application, you need to change up and you need to cook up all these things. Got it? When you write the prompt in the GPT or whichever source, these are all the prompt lines. Based on this, you can customize your introduction section. And next comes the literature review. Always, I find people think literature review is one of the boring section. Hope everyone knows. It is like very hard to write, very hard to find, write all the technologies, side by side limitations, everything. So I will give you an easy methodology how to scrutinize it. And before that, why we need to read the literature reviews. So that we need to work it out. And how to write the literature review. First of all, in the literature review section, you should clearly tell what is the purpose, why we are conducting all this literature review. For an example, you need to explore the previous researcher, that to the last 5 years. Why they have mentioned the last 5 years is already the previous researchers has gone through that previous 5 years from their research point. So that is why from this year, like 2020 to 2025, papers are appreciated. That is why the recent studies, they have done the recent studies. It is not bad that even if you go back and do all these research, but it is appreciable. Last 5 year research tells you the recent studies, what the researchers have conducted. So that is good work. That is why all the instructor mentors will tell you last 5 year research paper with a high quality indexed research articles should be taken into consideration. And next one is, we need to identify the relevant research even from articles, review papers, books, whichever source. Even website is also good when you really for an example, FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization website, and if you take any seek information from that areas, these are also plays a major role. And next thing is how you're going to organize. You're going to organize based on, you need to have some kind of idea how you're going to write, whether methodologies or in one paragraph, and next findings or theoretical aspect, or what kind of technologies they have used. So that kind of chronological or thematical, anything is good. Whether you have organized in that manner is highly appreciated. Based on your or anything, some kind of rules, some kind of periodical way is appreciable. Organization is appreciated. And next comes is how you're briefly describing about the main key finding of your research, and how you're focusing all these aspects in a relevant way. And next comes is how you're going to analyze and synthesize, comparing and contrast the that is like what compare and contrast in that way, how your existing research, what are the advantages of that, what are the weakness behind it. All these has to be summarized so that you can come into a clarity, like what is the strength of the study, trends, what they have used, how we can combine the other two algorithms. In that way, your analyzation should be done. And next comes this research gap, what they have done and what they fail to do. So these kind of analyzation is called as a research gap. And next comes is if it is applicable, any if you can include any theories or models based on that as well in any department. If you need that as well, you can indulge all these things. And one more thing, when you write in a literature review, it is mandatory that you should have proper citation and referencing thing. And once you conclude, you should summarize all the literature and the main key findings with whichever holds greater accuracy. All these things should be summarized in a 2 to 3 lines in the end of the literature review. So, to overcome your burden, I have come up with a tool called the size space. Hope you have heard it or not. So, this is the size space tool where in this, if you want to, for an example, our paper is related to crop yield prediction. So, I have gathered, I have written the in the search box. This is called the search box where you can write whichever key term you want to fetch the paper. So, it is like the repository. Whichever paper it holds, it will give you crop yield prediction. So, in this, it will provide you the paper's insights. So you don't need to read the whole content of the paper. Automatically, based on the paper, it will give you a summarization to one page. So once it is done, I want to know the conclusion. I really wanted. So you can add the column as well. And next is I really wanted to know the limitations of what they are worked on. And I want to know what kind of methodology they used. It is also possible. And what kind of data set they have used. It is also possible in the thing. And one is next, if I click on see, this is the problem behind it. Only 5 columns are possible in the free of source. So if you wanted to know the other column also, the only option that you can remove the column and you can paste some other column. Okay, this is the way you can utilize the app size space where it will minimize your time. And next comes the methodology section. So what is that methodology section will do is it will clearly define what kind of methods you're going to do and what kind of AI tools you're going to that is how the AI tools will assist in designing the experiments. When it is physics or chemistry department, what kind of thing you're combining, and what kind of when it is comes to CSE, this computer science department, what kind of algorithm you're going to combine, or in that way, your methodology section plays a huge role. So, how you have to write your methodology section? I'll give you a step-by-step examples also how to write it. First of all, when you are writing methodology section, you should be very clear and concise. That is, clear and concise is very much crisp thing is needed when you write the methodology, as it holds. For an example, in the data, let us take, you have data collection. In the data collection, if you see qualitative, quantitative, or mixed, we have, you need to check your data set whether it is qualitative. Qualitative is like both textual variables, everything, whereas quantitative is numerical. Whereas mixed is like both combined form of quality, numeric as well as the textual data. So all this information has to be mentioned in the data collection section where you have gathered all these data, and you need to explain what kind of analysis method you have used, techniques you have used, sampling methods, data collection method, everything. So in that point, you can use all these things. And mainly, I'll give you an example. In this way, you need to write your methodology section. So this study employed a quantitative approach. As I have mentioned, I'm using numerical data set. using surveys. So I have gathered the data by survey method. Even it can be in a Google form, anything, or Survey Monkey. All these are some kind of repository, some kind of application used to gather the data. That is, I have done data gathered from 200 participants over 2 months, which means 200 data are there over the 2 month period. So these are all, these kind of specification should be mentioned when you are writing the data collection inside the methodology section. So how you're going to engage the reader? So once when you explain what kind of method you use, or what kind of, here we have used the hybrid method in that way, right? What kind of algorithm? So you should mention, you now it is the time to reveal the secrecy, that what kind of algorithm is combined, what kind of machine learning algorithm. For an example, in our case, we have selected the machine learning algorithm for prediction. As I said, I'm going to predict for future based on the past information. So because of their ability to uncover the patterns in the large data set. So these kind of technology information should be revealed in the methodology section. Once everything is done, you need to use, always when writing the methodology section, mainly those contents are very much important, as it is always advisable to use active voice to avoid the complex sentences. For example, two sentences I have written: the findings underscore the necessity of further empirical exploration. So this and the simplified version is sorry, the results show that more testing is needed. Both the information is same, both the sentence holds same synonym, but these sentence are little more complicated when compared to this. So always the people will always love when you write the sentences more in a simple phrases. Okay, once it is done, you need to simplify it by steps, like first of all, survey distribution and what kind of data collection methodology. As I said, whether it can be in Google Forms or any other Excel sheet, everything. And what kind of statistical analysis, whether any statistical, that is SPSS is like statistical package for social science, right? Some kind of analysis. All these should be properly mentioned based on your area. And once it is done, you need to highlight what kind of methodology that you have used. For an example, in the study, if you have taken, you need to highlight briefly by showing how you're doing the advancement in the technology. For an example, a unique feature of this study is the integration of IoT sensors to collect real-time data and providing the accurate results. So we people are, as the outcome, I need more accurate prediction, as I have mentioned here. And what is the innovation is, I have integrate too many, right? It's like many sensors, IoT sensors has been integrated to make the machine smart. So in that way, I have highlighted. So based on your study, you have to highlight what kind of hybrid methodology you have used it. And next comes the how you need, and next comes briefly explain. Here in this point, you need to briefly explain about the conclusion, 2 to 3 line, like a summarization, not to like a overall conclusion. You should not write, just like a concise statement is advisable. So this, for an example, this approach allows for comprehensive data analysis, and it provides results for decision making in climate modeling. So as it tells, based on this method, the decision making is possible under climate variables. So all these with a crisp statement is enough in the methodology section. So in the methodology section, there will not be any app, because it's the implementation phase. Based on your work and your thing, you have to write it down. Okay. Based on whether it is in Python code, you have to write it in that way, or whether in other department, for other department people, you have to write what is the key finding, how it is varied from other people's existing work. In that way, you can portray it. And next comes the results and presentation section. So in the results and presentation, it is like always the results should be displayed in a graphical manner, as it is like anything like graph, like you have to portray it. visualized in a graphical for easy understanding, and it makes the reviewer also easy for it is like a visual treat rather than reading line by line. We when that too, when you're dealing with accuracy and all, whether the proposed algorithm is good or existing algorithm is good, that kind of comparison is always appreciated when you do it in a presentation. Like first of all, in this you can use bar charts or line chart by means of Excel. Even the common Excel itself is enough to provide you all these things, as it is efficient. And it is in addition, I will tell you the tool as well. And you have to highlight the key comparison, like you need to use side by side comparison, like what is the before existing work done by the previous researchers, and how you have increased the accuracy of your current model by what are all the factors that you have included. So in that way, by graphical, for an example, you can choose bar graph, gar charts, everything. These are all the way you can highlight your comparisons. And the main thing is, when you provide any real world application based on the findings, it is always easy to grasp what your result done. So in this way, you can use it. So in this, you can use Visme tools for visualization. Fine. And the next comes discussion, and we are going to discuss about the discussion section. Why now? Always people used to discuss the results and they will forget the discussion part. Only they will put the charts, everything displayed, and they will move on to the conclusion. But it is always wrong. What you have to do when writing the discussion section is, you need to provide proper insight about what is the trend, what is the comparative analysis with the existing literature, and how we are going to enhance the depth of the discussion, like how the previous existing, that is existing research, what it deals with, and how your proposed methodology outboost your the previous research. In that way, the comparison should be discussed. What is the interpretation, final interpretation you got with the existing and the previous that is proposed methodology. So these two comparisons should be discussed in a efficient manner, and what one parameter or what one argument that makes the research even more smarter when compared to the previous research. So all this information should be incorporated in the discussion section, like based on the results provided, you can talk about the comparisons of the previous research also. So what is the main thing that you need to keep in mind when you're writing the discussion section is, main is summarizing the main findings. First of all, you need to briefly explain the key results and the significance, and how you're going to, and next comes the highlighting the findings, whatever you have contributed. So these are all the prompts that you can utilize when you want to summarize all these things, right? You have to summarize in this way you can write your paper. Next point is, like, you have to discuss the implication, like how you need to highlight the findings in your problem. And the next thing is, it is always good when a paper holds some limitation. That is the thing that is the thing the reviewer can understand. Okay, you are acknowledging, because all the study, even if you do some research, it is not like you're perfectly 100 out of 100, you have done covered all the areas. Some might be there, you find once the research has been done, you might have come up with the other idea, or you can also implement all these things, but you fail to do so. So all these things can be mentioned in the limitation as one point. And once it is done, you can also speak about or suggest how you can prolong the research in future, and how you're going to provide the final remark that provides how your research is important to the society, or how it plays a very good role in the rancho's life. So all these information should be discussed as per our scenario, how it helps the farmers, how the recommendation system helps the farmers choosing the right crop at right time. So these kind of information can be provided. So once it is done, next comes the conclusion section. The conclusion section is like you need to. So how you have to write the conclusion section? As we have dealt in the starting in the say IMRDC diagram, in introduction and conclusion should be interconnected with one another. So whatever you have discussed in the introduction, those points should be summarized as a practical, it's like an implemented approach. That accuracy, everything has to be whatever you have mentioned, the problem statement, it should be the answer in the conclusion. In that way, it should be interconnected. For example, you need to briefly summarize the in the conclusion section the main objective, or what is the main problem your research is trying to solve, and how you're going to highlight the main results of the study or conclusion to avoid introducing any new data in this stage. So if you fail to mention anything in the introduction section, you should not take it up as a separate single thing and put it up in the conclusion. It is not advisable and it is not readable to the user, as it makes the choice among the readers. And next is the we are going to discuss about the significance of your findings, how it contribute to the field, or how it solves the problem. Crop yield prediction, it's like how it solves the problem in the future. So based on the past data, we are predicting it in the future. So those kind of things has to be described with what technology you have incorporated. And once it is sorted, next comes is you need to again you need to mention one point about the mention. It is not like when you when you write the limitation, overemphasizing is also not good. So I thought of it's like one point, one main point that you're going to incorporate, going when you feel as limitation, you can mention it. It's like not too many points is not recommended in the limitations. And next comes the future research, how you're going to write it. So you need to provide some future research that could build or address the gaps in your study. And next comes the strong closing remark. It is like when you write this point is very much important. You should tell the reader how your research is important to the society and how it gets impacted. So this is the closing. It should the final line should make the closure of the closing statement. And always in conclusion, it is like it should be brief, one paragraph is enough for writing the conclusion. And always, as I mentioned, the closure, the statement, always the conclusion should have the feel of a closure statement. Okay. In this way, your conclusion should be. And next comes the reference management. So once everything has been written technically, it is always good to give credit to the other paper's work, like how you have to write the references. So the references always based on your journal template or whichever journal you're going to publish. You have to gather those information, and based on their template, you just write it, whether it might be APA, MLA style, IEEE style, or Chicago style. All these has to be ensured properly before writing it. So as it makes you makes the time reduce for you. And next is the thing is you need to list all the sources, whether you have to whether you have gathered information or referred from the website, mention it. Web book, mention it. Article, mention it. And next is how we are going to mention plays a very important role, whether it is alphabetic. When it is IEEE, it is based on numerical aspect. So you need to mention that as well. And once it is done, you need to provide a complete information, like when you write the references, you should keep in mind all these information, following information, or that author first name, last name, publication year, the title of the research paper, journal name, and volume, issue number, publisher, page number, along with your DYI number. All these are mandatory. Okay. These all the things should be mentioned properly in your references. And also ensure double check whether the author name that you have mentioned is correct. As you are dealing with the other paper's name, it should be, the credibility should be right. Okay. Whether the names has been mentioned capitalized in the paper, everything has been double checked for the accuracy. So to use this for the references, you can use Mendeley tool, have a folder and you can implement it. So and in the Mendeley also, you can indulge the Mendeley in the Word, MS Word. So it will reduce your work. So, as of now, we have discussed how to write the step by step approach and the AI tools to be incorporated in writing the research paper. So, this diagram will tell you abstract is like a brain. It should tell about the problem, methodology, finding, everything should be prompt. And it also should explain about the introduction, and we have also spoke about the methodology section, as it is the heart of the section where you can able to attract the novelty from the it's like a novelty of the section relies on methodology part. Literature review discussion based on the previous discussion. It is like a comparison of existing and previous works has been discussed here. And it is also deal about how you have solved the problem efficiently, as well as the findings of the results has been summarized in a graphical approach and conclusion. And as I mentioned, the references also. This way, if your research writing has been done, it will, there is, the paper will get accepted in this way. If you have followed the prompts, everything based on your application, it will get published. And next comes the, once paper writing phase, it's like over. We have followed how to write it, everything. And now it comes the publishing phase. So, what are all the norms to be followed when writing or having the checklist? What are all the checklists that we should have before final submission to the journal? First of all, you need to ensure whether clear, concise, and accurate title is there. As I have mentioned, all these steps has been followed. Whether the title, when you keep the title, you have to check whether the title is fully capitalized, or whether they have the journal is asking in a case sensitive whether it is the capital letters should be followed only at the start of each word. Everything has to be seen when you write the title. And when you write the abstract, it is always advisable 250 words is in common. But based on the journal which you are sending, you just have the template. In that template, you have to ensure how many words has been there. And next comes the formatting. For formatting, you need to use proper journal formatting, whichever format required by the journal. You need to adhere to all these things. Once formatting is done completely, you need to check the plagiarism. That is the main point that I'm going to talk in detail about the further slide. Just as of now, just to think, these are all the things that you have gone through. And once the plagiarism is checked, you need to refer all the references worked properly or not. And again, if you pass through the plagiarism phase, you again visit the paper, whether the proper figure number and data, all these information has been mentioned, well labeled. That is for the table, you have given the table name. For the graph, you have given graph name, everything. And last but not the least, you should gain, once before sending the paper to the journal, ensure to your co-author whether it is good to submit. Seek the approval from your author. That is even through mail, it is good for you. As when it is deals with other papers name publicly, it is advisable, legal. As per legal, you can have that as your evidence. And now comes how to avoid plagiarism. See, it is not a magic that I can say when you copy down all the AI tools with the help of AI tools, and when you, I can't say it, but you can avoid the plagiarism. And by using the AI tools also, you can help how, by even if you use the chat GPT or everything, how you can overcome all these issues, I'll tell you. Fine. First of all, you need to cite your sources. That is the common basic thing that we need to do. First of all, I wanted to have the same sentences what the previous research paper is having, the same line I want to use. In that case, this is the original line. Climate change is accelerating due to greenhouse emission. Same line also I want or indexed in my research paper. The only possible thing that I have to do is provide the author's name along with the year. So it is like acknowledging the author. It is the first step we need to do. Next is paraphrase. That is the key role that you can avoid the plagiarism. What is the thing is, let us assume this is the sentence I want. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the healthcare. So, based on the context, you need to rewrite it because you can paraphrase it AI in the short form. You can make it short form as like AI, artificial intelligence. It's like AI, you can do it. It's transforming the medical field with the groundbreaking advancements. So, what you have to do is you need to the meaning is same but you're changing the word and elongating the phrases. Okay, in that way you can avoid the plagiarism. And third thing is you have to use like quotation marks and all. When you use the quotation mark, mainly if you want to emphasize them, you can use the quotation mark and you can give the author's where you have stolen the work from. As for an example, this quotation mark is not the one which we have taken. We have paraphrased this and we have make it as a quotation. So, and even though when you do so that, you have to give some credibility to the authors. And next is once everything is sorted, and I'll tell you another thing also. When you paraphrase, for an example, you are using Quillbot paraphrasing. Let us assume you are using Quillbot paraphrasing software. In that, when you paraphrase one paragraph which holds a one time you have done it, what you will get the paraphrased result, right? Once the paraphrased result is obtained, what you have to do is re-paraphrase again. The paraphrased content should be paraphrased again. In that way, you have two problems. One is you will get one thing is you will have less AI. In that way, you can minimize your plagiarism. And another problem in that way, if you use is the content, will you will not get the exact content what you want. So in that way, you need to rewrite of your own. You need to ensure whether the content is matching with your own as it is changing the words, right? Paraphrased with the again you are doing the paraphrasing. So in that way, you need to ensure proper word is there, proper kind of content based on your content, whether the AI is doing. In that way, you need to cross check it. One time, proper reading of content is advisable. In that way, you can reduce the AI flag. And next is how you're going to check the plagiarism. So always nowadays, you people might be aware that Turnitin will produce the accurate plagiarism report. I authenticate either Turnitin. In the Turnitin, you have instructor mode. So what that instructor mode will do is it will show you AI similarity and ordinary article similarity. What is the two different? Article similarity is when you fail to give citation, when you acknowledge to do citation from the others' work. In that way, you will get the ordinary similarity. It is like you will get the similarity flag. Whereas A flag is something wherever you have referred the AI from the net, it will give you AI flag. So it is always advisable to use the AI software and not use it as it is. Got it? This is the main difference. You can utilize all the AI tools, but not as it is. Just copy paste will not help you. You can gain all the information and you can read. And next comes the so in that way when in during our review when I would really want to share this. One time, a journal, as we are the reviewer, they have given the report to us. along with the AI report. It is like instructor views of plagiarism report. What does it reflect is the ordinary similarity. It is like the particular person the researcher holds 8%. Okay, good. But for A plaque, when you see it is like 72% it is shown. So automatically no reviewing. It is like cancelling of for them it will be showing like only 8%. They think it might be good. But to avoid all these things, you can utilize all these tools, but you need to incorporate all these technologies to avoid this. And next one is you will also get the flag when you fail to, because when you take pictures from some other website or when you download it, you will also get all these things. So to avoid it, you can give the source information where you have fetched the pictures of the crops or whichever thing. So, and final is nothing but if it is not yours, you need to completely acknowledge it, right? Because always the originality speaks stands out, right? So in that way, it is proper. When you follow these steps, you will avoid plagiarism. And next, everything is done. These are all the steps that you need. As I have mentioned in the previous thing itself, content clarity, everything is highly required. Like how you have to pull up all the things, and how formatting and data accuracy, like what kind of in this main thing that you need to uh, take into account is language, grammatical error. To overcome all these things, you can use for grammarly also. You can word pin in the MS Word also. You can pin it and use simultaneously when you write the paper. And it is always good, you can use some pre-submission feedback, like you can share it with the mentors addressing the feedback. And these kind of things can is advisable when you write the feedbacks. Right, these are all the thing. And once the proper thing is, before sending, what people used to do is, once the paper is written, they'll just forward it. No, you have to read each and every point, because unknowingly you might have done a mistake. And it is always advisable, you can give your paper to the mentors, your guide, or to your expert members or someone before, because it is because they can easily in the third eye they can easily find it out, even if you fail to look into all these things. So it is always advisable you pass it on. And next comes is, what are all the common mistakes that when you are writing the research paper. So the main thing is, first of all, when you write, keep on writing the paper, you might have lost the focus of your research. So always have a good focus on your research when writing. And next comes the weak introduction. As I said, weak introduction, introduction and conclusion are interconnected. How it can be weak is, when you started writing as per my prompts, you will ultimately get the good flow. When the flow of writing will be good, but people might not be aware of all these terms, and they clumps it up with one sentence here. They will lack it in the conclusion. They fail to mention the conclusion. So these are all some of the things that you should be aware of. Next, poor structure. It is like in the methodology section, based on the flow of the paper, organized information flow should be correct. How you are summarizing the results, how you gather all this information should be incorporated. And next comes the weak literature review. So weak literature review easily people will identify. It is not like what the other people, how usually they used to write is, what the algorithm they have used, what kind of accuracy they are achieved. No, that is not the literature review to be mentioned. Always when you write, so when you see the research paper, it automatically shows when you fail to write the research gap, people can easily identify that you are not good, you have not done clear literature review. Because once you have done, it is always mandate what they have missed out. So that is made, it is because it is not like you have read something and you have copied down something. That is not research. What the research speaks, what the thing is, you have to identify the research gap. Fine. And the next thing, people should be aware of is like technical jargons is avoiding technical jargon is available. Too much technical jargon. For an example, uh, see they have mentioned cloud computing. Instead of that, we can also simply say online services. So cloud services, other than the computer science people, it is hard for the other people to grasp what the computer. So you should always make the researchers should not go out for the reference of the word from other side. So in that way, you need to write it. And next is improper citation, as I mentioned. In the reference section, for an example, if you mention 25 citation, all these 25 papers should be mentioned in the literature or in the overall paper. All the references should be mentioned either in the introduction part or in the literature review part, or whether you have mentioned any ideologies from the other paper you have in. Even if you want to incorporate anything in the methodology section, like one line I have referred this, everything. If you have given 25 references in the paper, 25 references should be cited in the inside the paper also, not like 25 here and only 14 will be there inside when you check it. And that way it should not be. Next is you have to provide the detailed method. Whatever you have mentioned, whatever you have done, everything should be very in a very clarity manner. You have to write. Next one is grammar checking, spelling or any formatting errors are there. You need to proofread one or twice. So for that, you can use Grammarly software to overcome all these things. And next one is if you just always it is good to read the submission rules, what the rule what they have mentioned. All these journal templates should be uh, read 2 to 3 times to ensure what they really want. So it is always you should consult or review the paper with your mentors to avoid some common mistakes, as you yourself ensure whether everything comes. These are all the things people mainly fail to write in the review paper stages. And it is also good, you need to know how to choose the right journal. So when you see some people always do their paper, what is that, their area is in agriculture. For an example, our area in agriculture with computer. So that kind of common paper, that kind of link should be there. Some people will publish the paper in max. What kind of scope match will be there? Nothing. Just to publish for the sake they will do. In that way, you should not choose the journal. So next comes the what is the, as I have mentioned, the Scopus metric, SNIP, SJR. Based on that, you can check whether the journal is good or bad. And for reviewing the audience and all, you can use the target journals like research by the research community. All these things should be used. And next is you need to follow the adhere to the rules and regulations of the journal, whether how many word counts, because in many journals they have mentioned the word count like 8 pages is enough for IEEE and all. 7 to 8 double column format, all these things should be kept in mind. And once it is done, you need to avoid the predatory journals. Like you need to identify, like you need to check the credentials in the whether everything is prompt in the Scopus, whether the source information journal are there in the whether the particular journal you're referring is there in the Scopus database. So all these should be ensured before sending to a particular journal, because there are many fake websites. Everything will be there. So ensure whether the proper website links are there. I know. So the thing is, you can use to check your paper. You can use Elsevier Journal Finder, Springer Journal Suggester. All these things help you when you write the title in the Journal Finder. It will suggest you what kind of journal suits your paper. And next is how to maximize the research visibility. So once your paper get published, so what is the key idea that you can grab the citation? How we can grab the citation is, first of all, when you choose the right journal, half of your problem get resolved. When you choose scientific reports or more than that, all these paper itself will provide you the enough citation, because the journal's reputation, the site score will automatically they got enough score, so automatically your paper will got a good citation. And next is you can circulate the keywords also. It is not circulate, you can provide keywords smartly in the title to grab it. In that way also, if you are using any gen AI concept, so these are all the keyword that you can use it to attract the people. And you can also post some post related to your topic, your paper, published paper in the LinkedIn. In that aspect also, it will help you gain citation, and you can present your paper in the conferences where you can have multiple authors from like same audiences will be there to refer you to get cite. In that way you can do and collaborate globally. It is like you can gain global collaboration like funding agencies, all of them to collaborate based on their work, or you can have foreign author collaborations also when your work speaks. In that way you can make it. And share preprints. Preprint is like before the paper is published, that is pre-publication phase. You can share all the you can download the paper and you can share it in the journal, which plays a very great role when to your colleagues. When you share all these things, it will also help them cite your work. And you can also optimize for searching. You can put all your Google Scholar everything to make your citation paper appear first. And it is always advisable you have to be in some research community platforms, ResearchGate, Google Scholar. These are all the things that makes your research visible to others. And next comes the AI tools. These are all the possible tools that, as a researcher, and as per my experience during my research phase and in the working phase, these are all the research tools that we need when writing the paper. So, for the literature finding or to find the relevant literature, you can use researcher life, research rabbit, and to understand what the research about, what is the paper speaks about. As I said, size, space, copilot, perplexity, chat, PDF, all these things helps you. And next comes the research to identify the research gap. As it is always also mentioned in the size space, there is a column. If you want to add it, a research gap, it will do it. Or else the consensus elicit software. It will also help you understand all these things. And to generate the titles and abstract, you can use Rightful, as I previously got the demo done. We have done the demo. And EditPad, Spinbot, Wondershare. All these are all the nice tools, but Rightful is good. And for graphical tidbit and deep dream generator, these are all some of the tools that you can use in place. Not only all these things are good. As per my usage and my experience, I have pulled up whichever is used. And next comes is when you want to assist in drafting and outlining, what like first outline of your work. If you want to draft it in that way, you can use Jenny, Unriddle, Paperpal, everything. And for data visualization, Tableau, Visme, this will help you. And next comes is language or grammar check. If you want to improve the grammar or writing style, and you can use Paperpal, Trinka.ai, Grammarly, WordTune. All these things will help you. And next comes the submission check. If you want to validate the paper, like before submission, if you want whether it is good, the submission in that submission checking part, you can use Trinka citation checker, cite everything to validate whether it is good or not, whether the paper comes with the flow. Journal finder and all, for finding suitable journals for publication, you can use journals, Elsevier journal citer. And journal finder is like which, according to the scope of your paper, it will match up with the journal. And for research promotions, you can use Kudos AI. And for pre-review process, you can use Turnitin Feedback Studio. And for data collection, you can go for Kaggle website, as it incorporates so many data. And for data analysis, you can use States Blue. And in addition, if you want to have to generate some new ideas based on your research topic, if you want to elongate anything apart, or literally saying, if you want any critical thinking ideas, you can use researcher.ai idea generator. And for plagiarism check, as I said, Q text, plaque scan, Grammarly will also do that, and the Turnitin I told you know in the previous. That is the main thing. And for reference management, Mendeley, Zotero, EndNote, all these things will help you in minimizing the work for references. And for proofreading, you can use Slick Write, which is very good. Whether if you have how you can write the quality of improving your writing skills. And for statistical analysis, SPSS, where in the SPSS studio and R studio, these are all studio is something, it is a coding platform, whereas SPSS is automatically tells you what is the statistics of your data. All this information will be explained in SPSS. And to create survey creation, that is creating what kind of survey your, whether it is Google form or whether you're pulling up your data by using Survey Monkey, everything is possible. And for research collaboration, and those if you want to collaborate the research people, authoria or overview, you can make collaboration with them, and you can ask them whether it is good to have collaboration. And if you want your research to have funding, research funding opportunities, you can have a grant forward or research gate funding. All these things are pulled up for you to make you understand. These are all the main tools that a researcher should have in during the research writing and publishing phase. As I can, as the time is up, I have summarized all the things. So, thank you. If you have any questions, let me know.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, one second.
Ma'am, if while using Turnitin, do we need to put, upload whole paper or without reference?
I didn't get you. Can you come again?
While
No
using,
references. No only. You said references have to be incorporated. No need of references.
okay, and one more question: if we use rightful, we are uploading abstract. At that
Yeah.
case, at that time, it will take as 100% plagiarism for abstract, right?
Yeah,
Because we
for
are
that only, ma'am, see, whichever tool I have mentioned, everything is, you have copy paste as it is, it will not help you. Why so? I have given you, it can help you, how you can frame the sentences. But technically, based on your content, you have to write it. These are all the platforms. You can't copy the internet content and cannot expect the plagiarism to be avoided, right?
yes, if I upload my extract, which I written already, it will take already uploaded in the website. It take as 100% plagiarism, right?
And
That,
no,
that
you're asking me whether you have uploaded, right? Your content.
yes,
You in that case, what you're asking me, the public your new content will get plagiarized, right? In that way,
yes,
you're asking.
yes.
In that way, in that sense, you need to pull up just the important content, just the flow of the previous paper. You should not upload your own thing. Right, if
Okay,
you want, if you really wanted to summarize, or if you want to prolongate the research to the other paper, you can use your article, or else you can use the your literature review paper as your content, and you need to remodify it based
okay,
on that which flow it is.
okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. Any questions from your end? Anyone? Once again, Lakshmi Srinivas, how this process that we discussed till now can be related if I want to write a review article, ma'am. Okay, sir. In the see how it is how to write a review article, right? See, similarly, I have told you the step and structures. So similarly, you have to write all the abstract everything. But in the part which we are methodology section, instead of that, you need to summarize in the tabulation form. What are all the like size space, right? It is like a pulling up of thing. It is always advisable. You can start with the review articles. What is the research apart from the size space? What you understand is also a matters because it's a machine. It will tell you as space will give you 99% accuracy of results, and this in this way you can write your research paper. It's like basically it is a summarization of existing research. According to you, you can also visualize the fact in the what is it pie graph also. It is like how many percentage of people have applied the ANN algorithm, particular algorithm. In that way you can show and you can display your writing. Next one. Thank you so much. How to write an effective title for my paper? Yeah, as I have told you, sir, Dinakar Joshi, sir, as I have mentioned the pros and cons, right? How to write the good title, how to keep your research title should have the secrecy in the technology. It's not technique, not the technology, in the technique, like hybrid technique, whatever technique, based on your session, you have to incorporate. Okay, and based on your application, you have to write it down. That's it. And kindly avoid the vague topic. Always move into the specific area and give the title. Hope everything I have mentioned. And next one is like someone. If survey paper or any paper has plagiarism, how it will come when you copy paste all the previous research. You have to when you are writing the research paper, sorry, review paper, the plagiarism is like always they will set one plagiarism according to this journal's wish. It is not like I can't say for in some journals you will get 20%. In some journals they will say in SCI and all they will say 15%. As it is, you can't copy paste the previous researchers' work. It is like previous researchers' literature, and you can't copy paste down, right? You have to understand what the previous research, what the research gap speaks, and in that way you have to write it. Yeah, it will be shared. PPT, everything will be shared. Fine. Recordings will be provided. You can ensure the organizers, they will provide all these things. Yeah, someone has raised your hand. What is that? Or Viber shitty something. Or fine. You will get all the rest of the information from your organizers. All the information recordings will be shared. So thank you. Thank you all for the wonderful session. If you have any doubt, you can tell me or we'll wind up the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much
much.
for the wonderful session, ma'am. And participants will provide the will provide the recordings after all the 5 days FDP has over. Then the feedback link will be shared to your mail.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the session. Bye.
And
Thank you
thanks
all.
all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Yeah.
And thanks all the participants for joining for the today's session. Yeah, we'll join with the same link for the tomorrow session. Thank you.
Thank you all.